What do we have here from Zero Hedge? These are the 6 traders who were just arrested for manipulating the gold market. Oh, I bet JP Morgan's going to be in there. Let's see. Not in your life. On Monday morning, we reported that a number of traders currently or formerly employed by UBS, HSBC, and Deutsche Bank, and as usual, no JP Morgan US banks were touched, would be perp walked and charged in an unprecedented cross-agency crackdown between the CFTC, Department of Justice, and FBI seeking to punish spoofers of futures. This was confirmed moments ago by a CFTC press release, which announced criminal and civil enforcement actions against 3 banks and 6 individuals involved in commodities fraud and spoofing schemes. Here is what got far less publicity. It wasn't just any futures that were spoofed. All the banks and traders busted were charged for spoofing the precious metals market only, i.e., gold and silver. We bring this up because there are still the occasional idiots out there who say gold and silver were never manipulated. The banks in question and their penalties. Deutsche Bank will pay a massive $30 million civil penalty and undertake remedial relief. The orders find that from at least February 2008 and continuing through at least September 2014, Deutsche Bank AG, by and through certain precious metals traders or traders, engaged in a scheme to manipulate the price of precious metals futures contracts by utilizing a variety of manual spoofing techniques with respect to precious metals futures contracts traded on the Commodity Exchange, Inc., or COMEX, and by trading in a manner to trigger customer stop-loss orders. You know what we need to see next? Now that it's official, everybody and their mother who owns silver and gold, and you don't have to own a paper contract. You can own the real thing. Now we need to form a class action lawsuit against said banks. Huge. Make it huge. Billions and billions of dollars. Class action. UBS will pay a $15 million civil penalty and undertake remedial relief. The order finds that from January 2008. Wait a minute. When did Snippy's contract get nailed? I think I was in March. March of 08. Futures contract. Silver. I was in a mini contract. 1,000 ounces. $20, $21 silver. Smashed to $17 like nothing happened. I went to bed. Woke up the next day. Account cleaned out. Margin call. We liquidated at 16, 17 bucks. What the F just happened? I had stop losses in there. Yeah, they triggered. But there were no buyers. Sounds like old Snippy's got a suit on his hands. But is it worth the $3,500 that I lost? Sure. Why not? So from 2008 January through at least December 2013, UBS, by and through the acts of certain precious metals traders on the spot desk or traders, attempted to manipulate the price of precious metals futures contract by utilizing a variety of manual spoofing techniques with respect to precious metals futures contract traded on the Commodity Exchange, Inc., or COMEX, including gold and silver, and by trading in a manner to trigger customer stop-loss orders. Let's see what happened to JSNIP 4. My stop losses were triggered, and there were no buyers, and I got stopped out completely. Margin call. HSBC will pay a civil fine of a massive, unprecedented $1.6 million and cease and desist from violating the Commodity Exchange Act's prohibition against spoofing. After an order found HSBC engaged in numerous acts of spoofing with respect to certain futures cards, blah, 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 just like the last ones. For those keeping count, this is roughly the 4th time HSBC has been found guilty of manipulating markets after the bank nearly lost its charter and swore it would never do it again. 4th time in a row. And here are the 6 traders who spoof and otherwise manipulated the precious metals. Krishna Mohan. The CFTC announced the filing of a federal court enforcement action in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Texas, against Krishna Mohan of New York City, New York, charging him with spoofing bidding or offering with the intent to cancel before execution, and engaging in a manipulative and deceptive scheme in the E-mini Dow Jones $5 future contract market of the Chicago Board of Trade and the E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures contract market in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And then this guy, how the hell you pronounce this? Zhang Zhao. CFTC also announced they're filing federal court action, whatever, blah, blah, against him too. Manipulative and deceptive scheme in the E-mini S&P 500 futures. We have James Vorley and Cedric Chanu. CFTC also announced action against them for, against James Vorley, a UK resident, and Cedric Chanu, a United Arab Emirates resident, charging them with spoofing and engaging in a manipulative and deceptive scheme in the precious metals futures market, and Jitesh Thakkar and Edge Financial Technologies for aiding and abetting spoofing and manipulative and deceptive scheme in the E-mini S&P futures market on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. An amusing tangent. Recall that, according to court documents related to the prosecution of May 2010, flash crash scapegoat Navinder Sario, the former S&P spoofer, allegedly asked the above-mentioned founder of the trading software company Edge Financial Technologies, Inc., to modify a program to allow him to automate some trading functions. The CFTC and Department of Justice said in their complaint that those modifications were designed to help him spoof the markets more efficiently. It gets better. As the Wall Street Journal reported, and now arrested Jitesh Thakkar, the founder of Edge Financial and a former member of a CFTC Technology Advisory Committee, said in an interview that the CFTC had sent Sario a letter asking him to retain all documents related to Mr. Sario. I've spoken out against spoofing, he said. We didn't create anything that does anything illegal. 2 years later, Thakkar was arrested for just that, but it is now also appears that Thakkar may have used Sario's algorithm himself. Finally, our old friend Andre Flotron, formerly of UBS, who, as we reported on several prior occasions, was arrested and charged with gold rigging after a lengthy career of doing just that at the largest Swiss bank. CFTC announced the filing of a civil enforcement action in the U.S. District Court for the District of Connecticut against Andre Flotron of Switzerland, charging him with engaging in a manipulative and deceptive scheme and spoofing in the precious metals futures markets on a registered entity. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 manipulation by the Fed and spoofing by high-frequency traders continues apace and will as long as the market keeps levitating, because it is only when stocks crash that the finger pointing begins. Someone commented, "Thank goodness that JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs never do that sort of thing." Someone else says, "How about compensating gold investors that were ripped off?" Yeah, exactly. How about JSNIP4, who got screwed by these guys? $3,500. I was up like $500 in a matter of no time. Thinking, oh, I could do this. I could trade. I can do stuff, man. This is cool. I'm just trying to make I think I told myself back then just $200-300 a week extra. If I can trade and do that, oh man, this would be kind of cool. And I'm playing the little fake one, the little fake deal that doesn't use real money, and I'm making wins over there. I'm playing the corn contracts. I played wheat for a little while. Let me get into silver. I got this. I can do this. I was doing wheat in real life, and then I was in the real one. Made a killing. Well, killing to me. I was up, quickly in like a week. Not really a killing. And then I've mentioned this before. I'm hearing stories about bread lines, people killing themselves in Egypt because the bread's too expensive, imported. And I'm thinking, I'm in a wheat contract. The price is rocketing up. I'm making money. Doesn't make me feel good to know that. I got to get out of the wheat contract. I don't feel good as a human being. Got out of the wheat contract. Ooh, silver. I like silver. I'm getting into silver. And I don't even know if I was in there a week. May have been a week. Crushed. Thanks to these bastards. Yeah, and someone says, the bosses? No rest there. That's what the patsies are for. Let's see what will happen. Guilty pleas to misdemeanor charges and slaps on the wrist for $1,000 fine each and 6 months probation. How much you want to bet? Yeah, I wouldn't bet, because that's probably exactly how that's going to go. Take care.